Hi, everyone. My name is Satan, or Alessa Vamp on the interwebs. And tonight I will be playing Yuiza Anacaona, our wood elf rogue.
Hi, everybody. Zachary Vaudo here, returning once again as your Damphir Wild Oracle, Arat Kshizhin.
Yeah, I'm Abby. I'm your local thin-air nerd, but tonight I'll be taking on the role of Fisscourth, our hooling cleric of Keening.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. Today I'm playing Shen. It's about to get freaky, barbarian druid.
And that just leaves me, everybody. Hey, I'm going to be your GM for this evening. My name's Sara Roberts. I use any pronouns, and I'm excited to jump back into it. Y'all ready?
My dad?
Excellent. That's what I've been missing this last week. All right. So for everyone listening at home, this is going to be a bit of a longer recap. So grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, sit back, and let's jump back into it. Last session, you all fought hard against the destruction and chaos that befell your new home with the aid of your allies. Now, as the Snallygaster's screeching fades further and further into the distance, Yuiza, Fisscourth, and Arat, you begin to take in the damage that surrounds you. Rupert returns to his human form, rushing forward to tell you that Sulong ran for the burning guild hall. The flames are now reaching higher up the walls, and you hear the cracking of glass under the strain of heat. The blacksmith shop is also ablaze and threatening to take Euphoria's tailor shop and home with it. Smoke pours from an upper floor window as the flames dance across the roof, following the firing of Pip and Beetle's arcane cannon. Dolget is helping his wife towards the temple. The elderly head of the temple, Duval, is rushing your fellow wardens in the same direction. As they pass Fisscourth, you see Amelie and Helena supporting a nearly unconscious Farah between the two of them. Amelie is saying something to Helena over their elder sister's lulling head, but you can't quite make out what. Arat, you hear the cracking and sliding of the pink dragon's roof tiles as debris dislodge themselves following the impact of the Snallygaster hitting the structure repeatedly during the fight. And you feel waves of magic encompassing the general store. A dark energy rolls and crackles through the dome, and you hear a small figure moving past you towards it. Yuiza, you took many hard hits during the fight, and you lay in the cool grass with Fisscourth fussing over you, checking your injuries. There's a clatter of a pitchfork hitting the ground and the sounds of boots approaching, as Ivy rushes over, skidding to a stop, kneeling down, asking, Yuiza, are you okay? Please be okay. Fisscourth, is she okay? Sulong, you exited the field of combat last session. Last anyone saw you, you were rushing in the direction of the guild hall. As you turned your back on the battlefield, you heard the cries and the creature Arat was fighting ring out and then begin to fade as it made its escape. Nearing the structure, it's clear the fire has spread quickly from the back corner to the front of the building. Flames lick up the sides of the walls in a hungry dance as wood turns to ash. And somewhere inside, there is a crash as a support beam falls, and this distinct but indecipherable shout of someone who was trapped inside. And this is where our story resumes tonight. We are all going to remain in our initiative order. I have it written down here from last week as we go through this. Sulong, we're starting with you at the top of the round. How do you go about looking for a way into the guild hall?
Is there a window that's ground level?
There are windows all around the building. Let me put you onto guild hall map. You feel the heat of the fire that has wrapped this way around the building. There are clearly flames on the other side of this door. Your survival is high enough that you
If I open
know.
the door, it's a backdraft, essentially.
Exactly. What would you like to do to try and get into the building?
I would like to climb up the building onto the roof.
Go ahead and make me an athletics check to see if we can get up this burning wall.
22.
22, yeah, you get up this wall with no problem. It's definitely hot, and you are feeling the heat under the sticky pads of your fingers. How are you, what else would you like to do on your turn? We'll count that as your movement.
I think as Sulong has reached the top of the building, he feels a pain between his shoulder blades, but is trying to press through it. finding a weakened part of the roof, he's just going to two-handed, like, overhead smash downwards.
You make it up onto the roof and you find a portion overlooking the opposite side of the building now. You can safely punch a hole through here. This part of the building is not currently on fire. Can you make me a strength check to punch through this roof?
25.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can punch a hole in this roof and you feel hot air coming up through this hole. I would say it's about, we'll say it's about the size of a basketball, what you've been able to punch through. You can't quite fit through it yet, but you can definitely see that below you is the hallway leading to where the dormitory style rooms are. So if you continue to work on this, you can try and get in through here. It doesn't appear to be on fire directly below you here. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
As a free action, he will try and shout down the hole, Nismat, Pascal!
Make a perception check.
22.
You hear the falling of debris that is on fire, and you hear the roar and crackle of this fire, but there's no voice that answers you back. Up next, we have Arat with Fisscourth on deck. Arat, you are out in the center of town, near the roof line of the Pink Dragon.
Yeah, just sort of like slowly get up, just again, doesn't breathe, but just like heaving out of like impulse, just exhaustion. One arm just covered up to the elbow in Snallygaster blood from going into the eye socket.
You hear some boots approaching you, and you hear the distinct voices of Carlotta, the cleric from the temple, the older woman, and Iggy. They are coming towards you to see if you are all right. They're not saying anything much yet. You hear Carlotta, oh dear, is there anything you need, dear? As she comes over and begins to fuss over you. You feel old hands. The fingers are bony but gentle as she begins to poke and prod at you.
I need to find my companions, and reaching instinctively for cards, and they're not there because I have expended all of those. Point me, please help me get to my friends, and along the way point me to whatever small fires there are. I can't do anything about the big ones.
You feel another set of hands come over, sort of pushing Carlotta away from you, and come here. They're right over this way. I'll help you to them. And you hear the voice of Iggy, and you feel them picking you up by the shoulders, helping you up, and directing you towards Yuiza and Fisscourth.
Then getting over to everybody, I'll just reach out until my hands touch both of them.
You are able to put your hands out, and you feel Fisscourth's wings, and you join up with your friends. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Feeling two of them, I'll reach out instinctively for the third person and not feel him, and just say, does anybody know where Sulong is?
I think you're alive. I'll bind him. I will. And I'm going to do something a little scary because this is a drastic situation, and sometimes that calls for some scary action. I'm going to activate change shape and turn into a swarm of bats. So you just watch as like panic mom mode bursting into a cloud of albino bats as I swoop over to the burning guild building, because I know that fool is going to go and try and be the hero.
My hand was on your wing, so it just goes through the cloud of bats as it flies away.
Oh, God. Like, yeah, I'm just like, okay, you're here. Poof. God.
You do see Sulong punching a hole into the roof. We'll say that you can get up high enough to get up there. Would you like to dash?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you can take your second movement to dash with your fly speed.
All right, and that's 35 because I'm level 2 now.
So that will be your movement and your action. Do you have a bonus action?
I don't.
Okay.
I really would like that, though.
Okay. I know you would. It's okay. My little swarm of bats. You're adorable. Up
Thank
next,
you.
Yuiza. Fisscourth just poofed into a swarm of bats. Ivy is now the only one really fussing over you. Iggy is there, still with a arm under Arat's shoulders.
She's going to take Ivy's hands and kind of try to calm her down. Like, she's fine. She looks bad, but she's fine now, thanks to Fisscourth. I'm really fine, I promise. Where did the Fist go? And oh god,
She went towards the building in the back.
oh, okay. Do we have buckets anywhere?
You could definitely
Please.
procure buckets from
Yeah.
the NPCs.
Yeah, and just I think she's gonna go just straight into like logic and just try to start taking buckets of water from the fountain to start putting out the fire from Beetle's shop.
You can definitely do that. And the NPCs there will definitely help you. Go ahead and roll me just 1d20.
1.
You throw this bucket of water onto, doesn't seem to be doing much. It sizzles. It doesn't seem like it's quite enough. That brings us back to the top of the round. Sulong, what are you doing?
As Fisscourth is flying up, the pain between his shoulder blades has become nearly unbearable. There is a scream of pain that descends to a lower registry as another set of arms just explode out of his back. And as a bonus action, I'm going to expend a use of Wild Shape. I think this is like just a replacement for the rage, but Fisscourth sees Sulong's skin become completely covered in scales. His face elongates just ever so slightly in this metamorphosis as his fingernails grow claw-like. I'm going to keep punching a hole through this until it's big enough.
Okay, go ahead and give me another strength check.
20 this time.
You do punch another hole into this, and with the already broken wood splintering around you, you create a hole that's large enough for you to get through at this point.
I think he just like hammers right underneath himself so he falls through with the roof.
Okay. You land in the hallway. What would you like to do next?
He's going to try to call out again.
Nismat!
You hear in the distance, several rooms away. Hello?
He's immediately going to charge down that door.
Okay. You will be heading, what's your movement?
My movement currently is 30 feet.
All right, so if you're following the sound, that will put you about here, and you will be entering into the fire zone. With that comes some new rules. As now you are in a burning building, and we are operating on burning and suffocation rules. So per round, there will be a con save to save against smoke inhalation damage, but you will not be able to avoid burn damage. All right?
Okay.
So for this first movement in towards the fire, give me a Constitution saving throw.
20.
20. All right. You do not take the smoke inhalation damage yet. However, you can't avoid that fire damage. You know what? That's a low roll. It's just 1 point of fire damage. Is there anything else for your turn?
I'm not close to the voice yet, right?
You're definitely traveling in the right direction.
I'd like to use my action to dash then.
That will move you in towards the kitchen. Now, as you look in, you can see the kitchen is heavily on fire, but you hear movement on the other side of the room towards the pantry. So if you want to take that full 30 and go in, you definitely can.
I have no self-preservation.
All right, that brings us back to outside of the burning building with Arat. Next, Fisscourth is on deck.
He put his hand on Fisscourth and she exploded into bats and is gone. He put his hand on Yuiza and she booked it to go put out fire. So he's once again just standing there by himself. Is Iggy still there with like hands on his shoulders?
Iggy and Ivy are both still there with you. Iggy just turns to you and, do they always leave you like this? That's
You get used to it after a while, not just them. Point me in the direction of the bats. Which way they went?
This way. Rupert, I'm going to stick with this one. And you hear Rupert in the distance, giving a yeah, sure, as the sound of a torch being lit goes off, and Iggy will move you towards where Fisscourth is going. What's your movement speed?
35, but I'm literally gonna say, like, you know, unless you can keep up, you can help them put out the fires, and I'm going to dash the additional 35 in a straight line.
If I can keep up. Oh dear, you don't get muscles like these from sitting around in the tavern all day. But you can catch up to where Fisscourth is. Do you want to go past Fisscourth?
If she's in the air, so I wouldn't really like stop at her. So yeah, I'm gonna go past her because I'm being pointed to the building. So all the way to the front door, if I can. Can I roll like a chance die to see if I can find my stick on the way?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a we'll say investigation check.
11.
You are not able to find it.
Okay. Do I wind up in front of the door at least?
Yes. With Iggy's help, you do wind up at the front door, and you can feel an intense heat coming off of it.
Iggy, is the door closed?
Yeah, it's definitely closed, and that handle I would not recommend touching it. It's a little red hot.
DM, does it feel like it'd be like backdraft explosion if the door got opened?
Roll me survival.
22.
It absolutely feels like this is a backdraft situation.
Find me an opening. Or something that I can open without as much of an explosion.
Let's head away from the fire, shall we? Let's go around this side. And Iggy will assist you once you can move again on your next turn towards another side of the building. Up next, we have Fisscourth with Yuiza on deck.
Oh boy, all right. This bat form lasts for an hour, but I can't do much because as a swarm of bats, we don't have much strength together. You know, I watched Sulong do this kaiju transformation. Fascinating. I'd love to ask some questions later, but right now is not that time. I'm sure to get after him because somebody has to watch him.
What's your full movement?
My full movement is 35.
Okay. 15 of that will get you up onto the roof. You drop down in here into the hole that Sulong created. As you move down the hall, calling out for Sulong, you are entering into the fire zone. Are you comfortable with that?
Absolutely.
I will need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. Does 15 pass?
15 just passes. Good job.
Oh.
So you will only be taking the fire damage, and I rolled low once again, so you only take 2 points of fire damage.
This is why we have a cleric with us at all times, y'all.
It absolutely is. But you do catch up to Sulong, who is just inside the door.
Sulong's just going to feel all these little bats just like flittering near his ears and his shoulders. It's like mosquitoes, but much bigger. And just hearing in Fisscourth's tiny little voice, I'm quite mad.
There is just the head snap towards one of the bat and like...
Well, you are quite mad. Let us continue then with safety. And that'll be my turn.
Fantastic. Up next, we have Yuiza.
She's still working on that building because right now, like, she was cursed, I think, last session to like kind of like ignore a promise and like the people attached to it. So right now that's kind of replaced with panic about what's going on. So she's just going to keep trying to put out the fires in that building.
Go ahead and roll me 1d20.
8.
Still chipping away, not making much headway. Is there anything else you would like to try and do on your turn?
Can I cry as a free action?
You can always cry as a free action.
Thank you. I would like to do that.
Okay. All right. That brings us back to the top of the round with Sulong. You hear something back towards the pantry area of the kitchen.
30 feet of movement towards it.
Okay. 30 feet gets you right up in here. I will need you to make me another Constitution saving throw.
16 this time.
16 passes. So you will only take fire damage. You will take 3 points of fire damage. But you run in and you see a little true love trying to pull Pascal through the room. And from the drag marks, they've made it all of 1 foot from the back corner. Pascal is currently unconscious. There is a dagger embedded under his ribs in his side.
He will turn his head and just bark towards Fisscourth.
Can you heal him?
Chorus of shrieks.
Is that a yes?
Do you speak Uhula?
No.
Assume it's a yes.
He will look down to True Love.
Are you okay?
I'm a little warm and I would really like to get out of here, but the window's blocked.
He looks up.
Beams have fallen in the building in front of the window, and they are 3 times the size. They're large support beams, and not something that True Love, even with her barbarian abilities, is able to move. She's just too small. She can't get the leverage to get it out of the way safely with Pascal in there.
Okay. He will scoop Pascal, like grab his legs and arms and just fireman carry him.
Mm-hmm. You can absolutely do that.
Stay close.
Okay. I like your arms.
I grew them myself. Where's Nismat?
They were working on paperwork last I saw them.
I want to be a silly little guy. Can I redact fireman carrying Pascal in the exchange of just trying to football charge through the window and the debris?
Make me a strength check to see if you can get through it. With this wild shape, adrenaline body you got going on, you can do this with advantage.
26.
26 can definitely bust through what remains of these support beams and this glass. You are able to clear them a path out.
Sulong had taken a few steps backwards, ran forward with like this burst of speed, and as he almost hits the window, kind of hops into the air and does like an aerial alligator death roll that just shoulder checks into the window and the support beams outside.
You see True Love's pink head peeking out at you through the window. I can hand him to you if you want.
Go, I'm going to find Nismat.
Oh, okay. Fisscourth, you just see True Love starting to hoist a person twice her size and shove them out the window, Looney Tunes style. Pascal's going to take an extra 2 points of damage from the fall. But they are able to make it outside, and she begins, we'll say they get another 10 feet away from the burning building as she, under the arms, tries to drag Pascal away. Up next, we have Arat.
I don't think that I can make it over to the window where the window break was. I'm gonna run my hands along the wall, to try to find something loose or a way in while we're going whichever way I'm being led.
You will be led down this way. As you get towards the windows that overlook the dining area, Iggy says, "Well, this part's only half on fire. We can keep trying and looking in the other windows if you'd like."
Are there any rocks near my feet that I felt as I've been led this way?
Make an investigation check.
18.
Absolutely. You pass through a part of the garden where it's landscaped. They have a lot of nice small rocks, probably from the pulling them out of the ground from the construction of this place, and they've used them as a garden border.
In the middle of him saying that sentence, I've picked up a rock and just chucked it at one of the windows to break it open, and I'm just walking towards it.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll to hit.
18.
You are definitely able to hit it and start making your way through it.
Stay back to the smoke, and I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna walk as far inward as I can, avoiding most of the heat in the sense of I'm trying to find a pathway.
Yes, you get the feeling that along this wall that you're currently on, it's not currently on fire, but you can feel towards the direction that would be through the room and to the entryway. It is incredibly hot.
Yeah, I'm not close enough to feel that there are things between me and the door yet.
Up next, we have Fisscourth with Yuiza on deck.
Oh boy. Things got real bad. Is Wait, no, Pascal's being shoved out the window. Anyone else in the room? Do I hear anything through the crackling flames?
You heard them shout that Nismat was doing paperwork.
Oh boy.
But it's just you and Sulong now.
Gonna flutter over to Sulong, and that's gonna use all of my movement.
Yes, you can make it over to Sulong. Roll me that Constitution saving throw again.
8.
8 fails. You will take the smoke inhalation damage on that. So that will be 2 smoke damage and 2 fire damage for you this round.
Oh boy.
What's your Constitution, by the way?
My Constitution is 19 because I have that special necklace
Great.
on.
Good. You don't have to worry about suffocating quite yet.
Quite yet.
What would you like to do for your action?
For my action, I think dozen little voices in chorus just all coughing. I can't stay here, but I need to make sure Sulong gets through alive. So I am going to cast on him a 3rd level spell slot of Prayer of Healing. So as I land on him, all these little bats just start glowing a bright, glorious color. And Sulong's going to heal for, 11 hit points.
I love it. Yuiza, you are up next. You see more folks coming to assist in working on the building. You now have a line of people that are pulling water, including Rupert. Toby is near you and has actually commanded Pershing to go and stand in the fountain. Apparently he has a water spout feature and is funneling water towards everyone like a little drinking fountain. It's not coming out where you think either. It's coming out the ears, not coming out the front. It's very interesting. Go ahead and roll this one with advantage for me.
I'm not rolling so great. That is a 12.
With the help of everyone involved, as more water is being put on this fire more rapidly, the flames begin to start dying down. It's still definitely on fire. You still have some work to do. You are definitely making progress now. You're feeling much more confident about this. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
She wants to keep going at this. This is right now the only thing keeping her from losing her mind. She's panic putting a fire out.
Okay. As you are working to put this fire out, you and everyone standing around you hear the sound of a massive explosion as the windows of the Wands Wand all shatter outward and a large fireball from the center of the building goes out. And you are concerned that it'll hit the building next to you, and everyone braces for it to come their way. But within an instant, there's a shimmering white light that cascades over the outside of the Wands Wand, and that fire is sucked back in with a... And now it's going to be Sulong's turn. You are in the pantry area of the guild hall. You just got a little healing from Fisscourth and many bats. Where are you going next?
He is essentially heading towards the office.
Okay. What's your movement?
30 and dash to 30 if that's not enough.
See, so 30 will get you to the door, and then 5 more gets you out. So that will get you near the door of the office. I will need that Constitution roll again, though.
23?
23 definitely passes. You will not take the smoke damage, but you will take that persistent fire damage. That is 2 more points of fire damage.
Gotcha.
Any bonus actions?
He will yell for Nismat again to see if he can get their attention, if they are okay.
You hear the crackle of fire from within the room as you near it. But you make no sound, make out no further sounds. Up next, we have Arat with Fisscourth on deck.
Can I hear that shout that just happened?
You definitely can.
I want to move in that direction. I'm going to keep walking in a straight line, and I'm just like feeling which way.
Office.
Point me.
You feel like a hand just like from over your shoulder turn you right into the direction of where the office is.
I'm going to walk in that direction, and what I'd like to use that telekinesis for is I just want to do like a forward pulse once I walk into the office to push anything that's in the way out of the way of me.
Okay, you can definitely do that. That gets you about to here, and you feel the telekinesis push against something within the room. I'm going to need that Constitution saving throw from you for this turn.
No, because I don't breathe.
That is correct. So you will only take fire damage. So it'll be 2 points of fire as you move into this area.
Which is halved for me.
You hear a desk shove through the room, but you don't hear the sound of any voices. Up next, we have Fisscourth with Yuiza on deck.
I am a creature of air. I've got delicate little lungs, and I'm not going to make it. As much as I want to be by Sulong and Arat's side, I need to go and get into the fresh air. So, this healing happens, and I begin to flutter out of the room and towards that open window where our friend got shoved through. I'm going to end the polymorph at that point. Just this little cloud of soot-covered bats plop onto the ground, and it's just me. And all right, who needs assistance? Give me just a sec.
Oh, hello. He does, but I don't think we should pull that out yet. We might need to get him to the temple.
Good idea. Let's do that. And that'll be my turn.
Fantastic. Yuiza, still working on that fire?
Yeah, rinse and repeat, baby, until we can put this out.
Okay, roll me with advantage again.
Natural 20, baby.
Wonderful. With a nat 20 on this round, you are all able to, with the power of this group behind you, get the rest of the flames down so they're at least cinders. This is the point where the fire is still dangerous, but there are no active flames that are further eating away at the building. You have made tremendous progress on this round. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, that's it. That's all she's got for this round.
Back to the guild hall. Sulong, on this turn, if you use your movement, you're able to make it into the room.
It's like you read my mind. I would like to get into the room and search around.
Roll me a investigation check.
19.
You are able to get into the room, and you see something large and blue near the opposite side of where the desk used to be. It's been pushed out of the way. You're not sure of what, but you see Nismat laying on the floor with her eyes closed.
I will check for a pulse later. We are still in a burning building. Fireman Carrie turns to Arat.
I got her. Let's go.
Use my dash action to get past Arat and just like a pair of arms steer him towards the outside.
Okay. You're heading for the front door? Okay. You can definitely head that way and take Arat with you. And I will say that on this turn, since you have found Nismat, that you can all make it out the front door and meet back up with Iggy out front. And this is where we will exit our turn rounds. What would the two of you and Nismat and Iggy like to do next?
First thing, I'm going to reach out and just touch the face of whoever's talking to me. Your face didn't change, right? Well, it's scaly, but it's not like
scalier now.
But I have felt your scales already, and in same facial structure. Yes,
Essentially, yeah. Maybe a bit more like solid.
All right. So establishing who I'm talking to. Is there anybody else inside?
I don't think so.
Do we want to check?
I can do it. Just get Nismet out of here if you can.
It might be best if I go in. I do not have to worry about the smoke as much as you do.
Be careful.
Do you have my stick?
No.
Can he walk over to a tree and just like a young sapling, kick the base of it and just like shore the branches off and just hand it off to Arat?
Absolutely.
I'll take that, like feel it, and just go. I'll point it at him. And go, find my stick, and I'm going to actually just go back in, stick against the wall, so I can keep track of. I'm going to move along walls so that I don't get like completely lost.
Okay. While you are doing that, Fisscourth, what are you and True Love doing? Are you moving your way towards the temple?
Absolutely. I've got, I imagine us doing like that each of us has one of his arm, except it's very just disproportionate because she's so little. And I've got a wing, but we're walking him.
Absolutely. Between the two of you, you can definitely work your way over there. And Yuiza, as these flames begin to die down, you see your friends coming out of the warden's building. You see in the distance Su Long, as you look over, has more arms than he had before and is carrying someone large and blue on his shoulders, heading towards the temple, I would assume, Su Long?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And further beyond that, you see a small pink figure and a large bat-shaped white figure walking as best they can with a person suspended between the two of them. Do you want to continue working on the house with the rest of the group?
Knowing that they're just heading to the temple, she's actually going to look back at the wand's wand. And is it like on fire or?
There is no sign of fire at the wand's wand. The windows blew out. There's glass covering the ground outside of it from where it fell. There's no sign of fire.
She would like to investigate that.
And you can go ahead and roll investigation for me.
16.
16. As you approach the wand's wand and you look at that shimmering magic, you recognize the magic as the same magic that repelled you from the door when you tried to pick the lock your first day in town. It appears that whatever protected the building from you picking the lock also protected the building from the explosive blast as well. It doesn't appear to be burnt or singed. And as you peer in through a window, it appears that all objects are in their proper place.
Okay. Seeing that it is unscathed, she'll then turn around and see what else is happening. Seeing Laurie, she's going to go over to her and ask, is there any way you can help us with the fires?
I can go grab a bucket.
Okay, yeah, that would work.
And Lowry has been crafting vines and putting up a support beam to hold up with her druid hag magic the part of the roof that was potentially in danger of collapsing should anyone go up underneath it. But as she finishes that support beam, she does turn on her heels towards the building that you were just at to go and begin assisting. And then as she gets to about the midway point, she stops in her tracks and looks directly at the fountain.
Everything okay?
Don't you smell the blood? And as she says that, and you look past her, you see in the dim light that the water coming out of the fountain, pouring into the buckets as Pershing helps extract the liquid, goes from being a beautiful, clear water to a deep crimson. And the water begins to swirl as you see Morthron and Isla and their son come out from their home. The general store is still bathed in that dome of red light. And they are also looking at this fountain, almost knowingly from this distance. As Isla stands there holding her new baby, they appear worried. And as this fountain has your attention, a figure begins to rise from the bubbling liquid.
He's going towards Ivy to kind of like pull her back from this fountain.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I mean, I would say she's probably backing up at this point too. And you see a person who seems to be made of pitch black swirling shadow in a red tailored coat and a blue vest and black slacks. The fedora on their head has been altered to accommodate swirling smoke-like black horns and white hair as brilliant as the white smile that they greet everyone with as they rise from this blood. Ah, well, I guess it's time for me to collect on that contract, isn't it? Morthron, you're looking great. And that is where we're going to go to break.
There's so much happening at the same time.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. The emotional damage has not stopped yet. We will be back shortly, so don't go nowhere unless it's to grab a drink, grab a friend, or go to hypegoblin.com/events to check out the schedule for this game and others like it on the channel. We'll see y'all shortly. Everybody wave! Fisscourth, you, True Love, and Pascal eventually join up with Sulong carrying Nismat. And as you all enter into the temple, you see as you enter, you see two travelers that you had met previously off to the side talking. And you also see Fisscourth, your friend Igbri, talking with the daughter of Dolgit and Yalmunda Olbret. And with them also is Thomas.
Man, what a meetup. But, you know, I imagine it's very dramatic. Bursting through the doors, I just... Cleric, please! There's been a fire!
Thomas comes around to you all and, Miss Fisscourth, yes, we're aware. Are you injured? Are you hurt? Who's this with you?
I just look helplessly at True Love and just give them a look. Ash covered, still hacking up a storm.
Right. Right this way, all of you. And you are directed to head through. You are all directed to head towards the back of the Temple of Timora. And Thomas leads you through to the hallway and then over to the dining area. And as you walk in, you see Yalmunda sitting with Dolgit. She has been bandaged and is sitting there just resting, recovering. And at the far table, you see Rose Ressa leaning over a now unconscious Farah as Amelie and Helena watch on.
So strange being the one who's being tended to when I've done the tending, and I just feel helpless. You know, I'm sat down, just twiddling my thumbs. This is the only two that I have. I can only look helplessly at Sulong and just say, do you think we did enough? I think we did enough.
Sulong is gingerly laying Nismat on a table.
There's enough room. You can get both Nismat and Pascal onto the open table. And as you do, Rose Ressa wraps up tending to Farah, who still has not opened their eyes, and comes over. What seems to be the problem with them? Where did you find them? Were they in the battle too?
How does the burning guild building sound to you?
The guild is on fire?
Absolutely blasted to smithereens along with the one's wand.
You're a cleric, yes?
I am, but
good. Come with me. You'll
weakly
assist.
hold up.
Without skipping a beat, Rose Ressa takes you and shoves medical supplies into your hand and begins directing you on taking vitals, assisting her with assessing the condition of these two. Very much unlike your previous meetings with Rose Ressa, she is very focused. As they move around, attending to your two friends, they have a steady and gentle touch, Fisscourth. And you can understand why Duval would be looking to make Rose Ressa his successor. They are cool, calm, and collected, even in the face of all of this chaos. Sulong, as you are standing in the doorway with True Love, make me a perception check.
24.
24. Down the hallway, you hear the voice of the head of this multi-denominational temple, speaking to another familiar voice. You hear Duval and you hear Hardwick Tasselbaum, the gardener. It appears that this is where he and the others came after leaving the mansion. And they're down the hallway having a hushed conversation. You can't quite make out what they're discussing.
Sulong has taken a few moments to himself to just steady his breathing. The entire time that Roseressa and Fisscourth were treating Nismat and Pascal, there has been a grinding sound coming from him, and it is just him just gnashing his teeth, like worried. And now that they're being taken care of, dropping the wild shape, these scales sort of recede back to where they normally were, except they're a bit more pronounced now. Before it was a more subtle green, now it's like an emerald. He will kind of head towards where the voices are, trying to just keep himself hidden real quick because he doesn't want to freak anyone out with his new appendages.
As you pass by into the hallway, you hear True Love ask Fisscourth a question. Did any of you see Galwin? I can't find him anywhere. I thought he'd be here. And you can head down the hallway to check in with the other, with the two old men. From there, let's head back to the city proper, or the village proper. All right, you are going through the building, searching it as it burns. Go ahead and I'm going to have you roll this. We're going to say that you spend another 5 minutes searching the building. So go ahead and roll me a 1d8. We'll say that's the fire damage you take in that time.
1.
1? Fantastic. I love it. So you will take 1 more point of fire damage, but you find no one else in the building. It's quite clear that no one else was inside. Everyone else was either in the battle with you all, betraying you, or apparently elsewhere.
Yeah, but hearing Sulong calling out Nismat in particular, like I've at least confirmed that like that wasn't her betraying us.
Absolutely, so, yeah.
Resting my mind there, I'm making the assumption that everybody else but Arabelle were not who they seemed at that point.
Okay.
But okay, I'll continuing to follow and make my way back to where I came in and walk back out. And then I'll just with this temporary stick, I'm just gonna walk and just sweep the grass to see if I can find people, find my stick, anything.
As you head back, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
18 flat.
As you head back, you do find your walking stick in perfect condition. You also find Pip Glomtaff, one of the blacksmiths, the little goblin, and they grab you unexpectedly by the sleeve and say, "Stop! Shh!
Why?
Something just came out of the fountain."
Describe it to me.
And they will begin describing to you the person that I described earlier. Here is the artwork of the person who just popped out that you and that you would be hearing at the fountain. Yuiza, this is the person that you see. Pip will give you the play-by-play of what is happening as they step out almost as if they're floating on top of the water and just step directly over the lip, walking to the dome. They simply put out a finger and tap it once, and it disappears. All right, come on. We'll be going now. Let's go. Boss is gonna be so glad to see you two. Yuiza, you can clearly hear this. They're not trying to disguise their words. You do anything?
I'm sorry, excuse me, what is going on?
I'm, whose is, oh, look, you have, it's a party out here. Oh, and the fire looks just like home. Hi, how are you? I don't have a contract to collect on you, it seems. Salmiso's the name. Contract collection's my game. What can I do for you? I'm on a time crunch. Come on, let's make it fast.
What contract are you collecting tonight?
Oh, one that these two forged a long time ago with the boss, but it's their business and mine, none of yours. Love the outfit though. And with that, they stop, take you in for a moment, and then turn around and say, okay, you two, you ready? And Yuiza, you watch as Isla hands over the baby to her son. And she and Morthron, hand in hand, walk forward. Morthron puts up his hand. Yuiza, we never hoped this day would come, but if it means our kids are safe, we'll pay the price. You know, a deal's a deal. And a contract's a contract, kid. Don't worry, it'll all be fine. It's only 50 years each. And with that, the person in the red hat and jacket snaps their fingers and says, okay, come on, you two, let's get this show on the road. Don't want to keep the boss waiting. He's got a special position for the two of you. And Salmiso waves their hand, and the ground beneath the three of them begins to split. And there is this small fissure that opens up as they slowly sink down into it, and a ripple of the same magic that covered their house leaks out from it in a flash. And the three of them are gone.
That ending bit of Pip narrating for me, just stand back up and could you take me to the child, please?
Yeah, sure. And Pip will take your hand and walk you over to Zikos as he holds his little sister. Hi. You're the dude with the cards, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you hear as Zikos is bouncing up and down, you assume bouncing the baby to keep her asleep.
I will spare you the asking if you are well, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, we're fine. The dome kept us safe.
That's not exactly what I meant. I'll just gesture behind me to where people were.
It's only 50 years. I can. It was a 25-year contract, and then, Mom got pregnant again, so they amended it, and another 25 were tacked on. So, they said it would be fine. So it'll be fine. It's gonna be fine.
You saw this coming, then? This is not out of nowhere for you?
Well, I mean, they told me about it like a year ago, and I mean, they were my parents. It's not like there's anything I could do. Like, they made a deal, and oh, now I need to learn how to do inventory.
Do let me know if there's any way that I can help you during this time. You were rather helpful to me when we last met. I would like to return the favor.
Yeah, thanks. What's your name?
Arat.
Thanks, Arat. You're a cool dude. I liked your cards.
I liked your stories. and your aspirations. Keep at them.
Okay.
Just nod and down to Pip. Did you happen to see where my companions went?
Yeah, they went they went towards the temple, honey. Do you want me to take you there?
I think I can navigate my way. I've been around town a few times already.
I'm gonna go take Zikos and the baby and fix them some dinner, okay?
That would be wonderful of you, yes.
All right. Come on, honey. Let's go get some food for you, and we'll find the bottles for you, sister. And Pip heads back into the general store with Zikos.
And blood drenched and smoke shard, I'll just slowly walk in the direction of the temple.
Okay. Yuiza, what are you doing?
She's stunned for a moment with everything that went down. Her hand is holding Ivy's, and she just pauses and looks around at everyone and what happened.
Maybe a perception check.
I don't like that. I mean, Yuiza is my name and perception is not my game. 15.
15. That's plenty. You look around and everyone is a bit taken aback by what just happened. There is concern on all of the faces in town watching Morthron and Isla being escorted away by this figure. As your eyes come across Oria, you see a mix of anger and fear on her face before she turns back and continues working to douse the flames and the embers that threaten her side of the building. You hear Ivy in your ear. Should we go find your friends? Are you okay? Yuiza, are you okay? And she waves her hand in front of you.
I'm fine. I'm all right. Yes. Yeah, let's go find my friends.
Okay.
Are you all right? Are you safe? Are you hurt? And now she's kind of like patting Ivy down.
Oh, I'm totally fine. I hit one of those small the things that was throwing roof tiles earlier. It was with the wrong end of the pitchfork, but I did hit it on accident.
I'm proud of you.
I might have had my eyes closed. Your friends went this way. And she will lead you in the same direction that Arat is going. You walk in and you see there are a few folks standing around. You see Ulbrit, Dolget, and Yelmunda's daughter talking with Igbri. Thomas has returned to the Temple of Timora, waiting with the others. The folks out here seem to just kind of be staying out of the way, and when you ask someone, they'll direct you towards where the wounded are being treated. And you can meet up with Fisscourth at the first door, as Fisscourth wraps up assisting Rose Ressa with Nismat and Pascal.
There you all are. You forget how to basic healing methods when you've been using magic for most of your life. Why the sour faces? Has something happened? Other than what's already happened.
I'm gonna let you two. I'm gonna go in. And Ivy awkwardly breaks away so you can speak to Fisscourth alone.
Morthron and his wife are gone.
Gone how so?
There was apparently a contract in place. Given the theatricality of everything, I would assume it has something to do with firstborn, secondborn. But from the sound of it, some demon came to finally collect at the worst possible time.
whoever protected them in the fight. They'll be away for 50 years each.
Zikos has the child in his care. Pip is helping them get settled in. He's handling it well.
Oh, they've gotten themselves in deep.
How so?
Take me to the Temple of Asmodeus immediately. Take me sweeping down the halls.
You can do that. And as you exit the room, you see further down the hallway, you see Sulong over with Hardwick and Duval talking. And as you make your way over to the temple, let's check in on Sulong. You approach the older gentleman, and they're having a hushed conversation. As you walk up, it appears that Hardwick is informing Duval of what happened at the manor.
He tries to raise his voice to say hello, but it is extremely dry, so he has to just cough instead.
Oh,
sorry.
That's no problem. We just didn't hear you walking up. Hardwick addresses you, and how are you? How is everyone? Did you catch them?
They got away. If you didn't know, Dulhin was on fire for a bit, but I think it's mostly taken care of.
On fire? Oh, dear.
In their escape, they summoned some creatures. One of them is out there in the world now.
All right. Thank you for letting me know. You look like you should get some rest.
I'm fine. I can rest plenty after everyone's been taken care of.
All right.
How's everyone else?
Thomas is floating around here. He likes to remain useful at all times. I'm not sure where he's gotten off to, but Mari is in the room that we will be staying in while we are here with Miss Ellison, and Miss Ellison is I gave her something to help her rest.
That's good. I'm gonna see what else I can do here. I'm sorry to disturb your discussion.
No problem. If you need me, let me know.
He'll turn on his heel and head back into the triage room to see what he can do, noticing that no one from his group is here.
Yeah. As you head back in, it appears that everyone has been taken care of. Roseressa is still over by Nismat and Pascal, mostly just taking a few notes, but wrapping up. She's directed Ivy and True Love to go off and get some linens and told them where a linen closet is. But for the most part, everyone here is just sitting and waiting.
He'll approach Roseressa and just give her a moment to look up from whatever she's doing.
Did you need healing?
Is there anything I can do to help?
Well, do you have any clerical abilities? Healing magic of any sort? Medical training?
I can make you some coffee.
I do not drink coffee, but you are welcome to make yourself some, or the others if you want. The kitchen is that way, and she'll point you to the doors on the center of the wall, opposite you all.
Some tea, then?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. He'll basically busy himself making, like, food prep for the people who are up.
Mm-hmm. You can definitely do that.
There is the sound of him stumbling as, like, his shoulder arms smack into the top of the door frame and he stumbles backwards slightly. He has to stoop under it.
Mm-hmm. As you go in and you begin prepping food, Helena comes up behind you and reaches for some vegetables up on a shelf, looks at what you're making and picks the appropriate ones and begins chopping for you.
How's Farah doing?
They look at you as you ask them and bring their hand up to do a so-so motion.
All right. He'll continue to do what he's doing, just stops midway. I wonder if there was something more I could do. Not here.
They look at you, and for a moment you don't know if they understood what you said, but Helena opens her arms, gesturing if you'd like a hug.
He'll accept.
Helena will give you a hug and pat you solidly on the back. Helena is a lot stronger than you realized she was. But she will break away from the hug and take you by the shoulders, turn you around to the food, and get you working on something that you don't have to think too much about. You can just focus on the motions. And with that, we will switch over to the other three who have gone to the Temple of Asmodeus. You all walk in and you see a temple darkly lit, but lush. There are velvet drapings on the wall and a lovely statue of Asmodeus. And he pull his token up.
Oh, this is far too close to home for my liking. I'm glad I didn't go in here.
There's no blood around here. However, you do see staring down with much the same expression as someone you spent a great deal of time staring at back home. This knowing, rather smug look on their face. You look up and you see Asmodeus, and at the base of the statue, there are offerings. There is gold and trinkets. There are books, and there are scrolls.
Can I pick out the one that I saw that said Morthron's name?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You said next time, darling, when you come across Infernal, please call me. I think
we were in a temple. This was an offering. I didn't think it was any of my business.
But I'm very nosy. Look it. See? Nosy.
It's very understandable. Yes, if it's understandable. It's not your things to look through. But as it turns out, it happened to involve people here in town.
If I'd read Infernal, I would have gone through it, but I didn't.
We're not blaming you. I'm not blaming you.
Absolutely not. And I'm not even saying this out of personal interest. I mean this. Demons are not to be trusted in any regard. They will drain you of every last drop and further. Now give me that scroll, please.
Oh, here you go.
All right. I'm gonna look over it.
Yeah.
If it's written in a way where the ink is raised, I'm going to run my fingers over it because I also know Infernal.
There are bits and pieces, but it's not an expensive piece of paper. It's rather rough, so it is hard to make out some of the words, but you do get bits and pieces as Fisscourth begins reading it. But Fiss, as you read through it, this is a contract of protection for Morthron and Isla's children. And it has been recently amended to include the newest addition to their family. The terms are that their home and their children would always receive protection when it is needed most. In the face of any sort of disaster, be it natural or created otherwise, the home and their family would remain safe. And you think that orb that you saw, that large infernal dome that was over their home, that is what protected them. And that is what this contract was designed to do. But the terms are that in exchange for this protection, that they will have to serve in the infernal armies. for the next 50 years. Originally, it was only 25 when they wrote this contract 17 years ago for their son. But it has been amended to include their new child and an additional 25 years.
By the time Viz finishes reading out the scroll, her talons are trembling with rage. And she actually crumples the paper up, just never can trust them. Always with this, oh, I gave you life, you give me this, you give me that. There's always a tie.
That's what contracts are, Fizz.
Yes,
They're
but
give and take. And they knew what they were doing. I'm not saying it's right, but they did it for a reason.
they were desperate. Demons always prey upon the desperate, those who don't have a choice. It's not fair, Yuiza.
I know
None of
it's
this
not
is
fair. This life is not fair. It's bad things happen.
But it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't like this back home. It was awful back home, but it wasn't. Everyone was... I don't know how to help people, Yuiza. And this is full-on white girl sobbing. Like, if she had mascara, it would be running right now. Just full-on choking, heart-wrenching, gulping sobs.
Yuiza's kind of holding, like, Fisscourth's, like, shoulders. And she's trying to find the best way to comfort Fisscourth, but Yuiza feels the exact same way at the moment. And so all she does is bring Fisscourth in for a hug. And just holds her tight because she feels powerless as well. And she knows life is not fair. And seeing someone's parents get taken from them hits her, but she doesn't know why at this moment. And she's just holding on to Fisscourth for both their sake.
While this happens, I've taken the contract out of Fisscourth's claw, felt over it.
Squeeze it back.
Taking note of holding onto the claw and then taking the contract, feeling at my fingers, reading over, taking note of the specific wording. And then I'm going to roll up the contract and put it into my coat.
Okay.
Because and I'll say out loud, like, I feel that the wording and nature of this contract may be something we need to refer to later, for their sake.
You can try, but it seemed like that contract was pretty airtight.
We will find out.
We have to. We have to do something.
Unfortunately, it is a fact of life that you cannot save everyone all of the time. You may be able to save some people some of the time, and you may be able to save the ones you could not save another time. But times move forward and things happen. Do not count yourselves as worthless, though. You can look into town and not even into town, you can look into the medical room that we just came from, and you can see the effects of what you were both able to do. Who you were able to help.
You're just gonna sob, suck up a snot bubble, and nod. She hears you, but does she really hear you?
Both of you, please understand that you must pick your battles, but the fact that you do not want to, and you want to save everyone is, well, for lack of a better term, given the company of all three of us in this room, a sign of humanity. Versus whatever else we might be.
Everything that could go wrong tonight did.
No, it did not. Because there is still a town out there, and it still has people that have their lives. there is still life that can be lived out there. 2 children did not perish in a fire, and they can grow up together. The people in that triage room were not incinerated. They will heal. Many things went wrong, but not everything is lost.
She nods and she rubs at her chest as she's holding this really big knot in her chest. We should try to see what's left in the wants, see if there's any clues as to where Arabelle went.
I would very much like to do that, yes. And perhaps get whatever is left of my belongings. I do not think I will want to stay there much anymore.
The house is still protected.
Oh, good. Well, perhaps we will see what she left behind, both clues and resources, before we make our next move. I would personally say that whatever store prices she may have set would be forfeit at this point.
Yes. We need to find Arabelle as soon as possible. If we can head out soon, then we might still be able to catch them. I mean, they were running on foot, right? I mean, some of them, not all of them, some of them. And
we are going to have to take a more methodical approach. Running headfirst will not yield us what we need. We may be able to find somebody. Maybe you all can spot that creature that I was fighting in the sky somewhere. But take our time, examine the ones want, and see what may be there that we may have missed that could tell us what to do. And then we will go to where we are pointed, and we will take in things there, methodically, intensely. We came to this town in a sense of comfort and work life. We were not expecting to be thrust into horrors and danger. Now we know what is in store for us. We know how to approach it. Whether it be for the good of everybody out there or personal revenge. Both are acceptable.
all right. No, it doesn't matter right now, anyway.
When it does matter, tell me. But as we leave here and go back, do me a favor, because I certainly cannot do it. Both of you. I want you to look at every single person that we pass on the way back there, so that you can understand that that is a person that is still alive today because of what you did.
All right. I can do that. I've got eyes after all, right? For both of us.
Okay.
And then, in the meantime, we will handle this when we get the chance. I am certain that, if demons are coming to the surface to collect contracts, I'm certain that it's not the only time we'll encounter this. And actually, at that, DM, I'd like to reach down and just sort of like run my hands over other scrolls that are there to see if I can pick up names on contracts.
You can definitely do that. Roll me investigation.
That is a 17.
You find some other contracts. There's one or two there. No names of anyone that you recognize in town, though. There are also scrolls of poetry. Someone has written some smutty poetry in honor of Asmodeus at some point and left it here as an offering. You also find a book that is a almost like a who's who of the hells, written in almost like a teen Vogue style. Like there's little blurbs about Asmodeus and gossip about the generals of the hells and the goings on there.
The hottest bachelors in hell.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
a 6'11" with the horns.
Yes. And unfortunately, that is very, very clear for you as you run your fingers over the text.
If either of you are looking, you'll just sort of see at one point Arat's face just goes, but he keeps going. The names that I don't recognize, I expected that I wasn't going to recognize them. I want to learn names so that if we run into them later.
I would love to. I will write those names later.
Yeah, I'm not asking for them now because I know you don't have them. I would just like to make I'd like to make a DM note that if we run into anybody that wrote contracts to Asmodeus, I'd like to know who they are. Absolutely.
And to our patrons listening tonight, if you would like to go throw some demon inspiration names or some just general character NPC names, feel free to toss those in a seat at the table for me later. I'll let y'all have a little input on this world too. But yes, you all can do this. And Sulong, would you be seeking out your friends?
He's essentially set up a tiny trolley with like drinks and some food, like something easy to go down, and has asked True Love if they could handle that.
Yeah. True Love is happy to assist you with whatever you need. Fisscourth, question for you.
Yes.
As Sulong was leaving and we broke away from the scene, when True Love asked you where Galwin was, did you tell her?
I may have told an itty bitty comforting lie in the moment.
Okay. What'd you say?
It was half truth. We didn't see him on the scene, darling, but I am entirely certain he made it out. You know, Galwin, he's built like an oak. Don't you worry. Keep your chin up. He'll probably show up in a few minutes.
Okay. Sulong, as you are walking with True Love, passing out refreshments and food, they are very much at ease as they walk next to you. And I can't wait for Galwin to get here. I'm sure that he'll come at any moment. Fisscourth said that he's probably still out there. Did you go into the burning building? You didn't see him in there, right? I'm sure he's not in there. I'm sure he's okay.
No, I didn't see him in the building.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm sure he's fine. He was probably just in the ones one, or not in the ones one, in the, he was probably just in the Pink Dragon playing music or something.
He'll just put a hand on their head and give like a gentle pat, and he just excuses himself.
Yeah, you and the little pink kobold. Where do you go?
He's essentially just looking for his party. Like,
yeah. As you start searching, you head back towards the Temple of Timora. Maybe they went there. There were people gathered there too. And as you head that way, the folks out there, Igbri, points you in the direction of Asmodeus's temple, and you are able to meet up with your group as they come back out.
As he's waiting by the statue of Timora, he will put a gold piece down at the statue's feet. We're gonna need a bit of luck right now, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Roll me a D100.
75?
Nothing happens.
Cool beans. Hey. Yeah, he uses like his back arms to scratch the top of his head. So, True Love's given out some refreshments. This is new to me.
You have 4 arms.
And your face was very scaly earlier when I felt it.
Yeah.
And you were incredibly foolish when I wipe my nose, suck up some snot. Do you have any idea how worried I was about you? I thought you were going to die so long.
Well, one of those 3 things is normal.
There's a half-hearted chuckle. Sorry, I kind of lost myself there. I was scared that we would lose some people in the fire. I'll try my best to keep myself contained.
No, it's quite all right. I would have done the same in your situation. I let myself, and I just make a little fluttering motion with my wings. It's hard.
Are you okay? Your eyes are red. Well, redder.
Just a few tears shed. You know me, always.
He'll open up his, actual arms for, a hug and tilt his head quizzically,
She's gonna lead into the hug. She's all cried out, but a big hug is what she needs right now.
Fun thing I learned today, care is a universal language.
That it is.
Indeed. By the way, have any of you seen Galwain? Have you seen Galwain too long? And I pull back from the hug to look at him in the eyes.
No, I haven't seen Gowan at all.
Oh, heavens be merciful.
Did I see Galwin?
Yuiza, you did see who were the first 2 on the field for the fight?
It was Arat and Yuiza.
I was a wolf.
You did see Galwin. Galwin was exiting the Wand's Want towards the end of the culprits getting away. He teleported away with them.
Galwin left with Arabelle.
I've heard with sleeping with the enemy, but this is a little too literal for my taste.
No, it's quite possible that he was himself.
The enemy, yeah.
Yeah.
For how long? I have no idea.
Since at least before we got here, I would imagine. We met them on the road coming here, so they certainly had intent. I doubt that they one day decided that they were just going to overturn everything.
They played their parts so well, and so did we.
It just
Hey,
makes you wonder. Yes?
let's focus on the things we can do right now, all right?
Yes, we were talking about that earlier. We need to assess at Liwan's Want any clues that they may have left behind and give us an idea of where they're going, as well as gather resources before we go anywhere else.
I'd also like to get my stuff. I don't really feel like staying there anymore.
I said the same thing.
That seems to happen a lot.
We can go back now, or if you guys want to stay, I can head back, start searching.
No.
I need to stay behind and tend to the wounded. I'm sure Redressa will need the help. I've worn myself out spell-wise, but there's plenty wounded here. Please, go search through, and if you can, bring back a few of my things if they aren't too exploded.
Oh, the house is all right.
Oh, I just figured there was fire everywhere. Oh, well, be safe, don't trip, and if anything happens, I'm just a holler away.
Right. Did Arabelle say anything to you guys before she left?
DM, it's been a month. I don't remember. I remember she said something, but I don't remember what it was.
You're
You
muted.
muted.
I believe that she just taunted you, Arat.
Okay. Is it just more trying to get into our heads? Nothing substantial.
Yeah. I mean, she mentioned something, but it's not a big deal. We can talk about it later.
Are you sure? It was.
Yeah.
It seemed to be rather a big deal.
No, it's not a big deal. Let's head back to the shop, yeah, and see what's there. I mean, the shop itself, it protected the shop from the blow. Everything's perfectly fine. I think the house itself is still protected. I mean, if she's the one that puts the fireball, the house protected itself and stopped it. So maybe it's not all hers. Maybe
Maybe if I punch it real hard, the barrier will break.
Well, we do have our keys still.
we have keys still.
Right.
You know, perhaps I'd come along with you after all. We don't know what other nasty surprises she might bring along, and you might need a cleric. Speaking of Yuiza, you looked a bit dazed during the fight. Are you quite all right?
Oh, I mean, all right, this is a pretty, you know, it's a pretty broad word right now. I am alive.
Physically,
so-
spells, effects? Can I look at your face? And like, without asking, she kind of just takes her cheeks and her claws and starts examining you, looking for any sign of curse or or any other magical effect.
I'm all right. I don't think I got anything. I mean, you healed me.
Yes, but there's other types of healing that might need tending to. GM, could I roll to see if I can see it?
This is not something that is clearly visible. So this is not something that you would be able to roll to look for, unfortunately. Sorry.
Oh.
Nice try, though. Nice try.
Nice try.
Yeah, it sounds like physical effects are taken care of, and whatever's left maybe beneath the surface. Yuiza, I understand that it is nothing. I'm going to leave it at this. I do not want to pry into your family matters. She mentioned something about your father. If you want to tell us, you can. But
Also, I imagine we're talking and walking as we're going.
Yeah.
Is everyone heading back to the one spot?
yeah, we've all said that
Yeah.
at that
Okay.
point, yeah.
Your
I'll let
dad.
Ivy know that I'm heading out and that she should stay here tonight. Just for safety.
What was that?
I will let Ivy know that I'm leaving for the night, but that she should stay here.
Yeah.
For safety.
You can definitely do that.
Yes, sir.
For a big old kiss. I'll head out with my friends.
But yeah, it's like I was saying, like if you know, I'm not going to push you to delve into your family matters. Speak to us when you have the want to, but I know that I would not be okay if well, it's been a while since I've had to worry about family things, but I imagine if somebody brought my family into the middle of a fight like that, I would not be doing so great.
We can talk about it later. Really, it's not a big deal, I promise.
Very well.
You all make it back to the Wands Want. Let me put you on the first level. And as you approach the door, the shimmering goes away as you pull out your keys and one of you unlocks it. The house recognizes that you are in control of this space and you are meant to be here. It doesn't need to protect itself against the four of you. And you are able to walk in. Outside of the building, there is a layer of glass on the ground, and all of the windows have been shattered at this point. But as you look around, there is not a single sign of fire anywhere. What do y'all do first?
Sulong will raise a hand to stop everyone kind of squinting into the darkness. He looks a little befuddled because something is a little different. I'm casting Detect Magic.
Yeah. Casting Detect Magic in the middle of a magic shop floor?
Yeah, is the answer, yeah.
You are blinded by the auras of magic within this room. There are magical items, potions all over the place.
He specifically kind of looks around, and to him, it's like that predator vision where it's quickly flicking between like infrared, like X-ray, all of that stuff. And he's going to look for any magic that's out of place, kind of like if there's a magical trap on the floor.
Okay. Roll me investigation with advantage.
16.
It's very hard to discern, but as you move through the room, you don't find any magical traps, but you do about halfway into the shop area. You do see a magical sigil still faintly glowing on the floor. This glyph was designed to go off after a certain period of time and release fire magic. However, it appears to you that whoever put it here knew that there was protection on this place. In the center of the sigil, there is a small velvet box, and beneath it sits a note.
Anyone magically inclined help me out here?
I'll walk over until my stick bumps the box.
Nothing happens. The box clatters to the side a few inches.
Put my hand flat until I fill paper, and then pick it up and, again, running my fingers over it to feel if there's any text before I hand it over.
There is. It's a simple piece of parchment. It's the same kind that the shop receipts are written on. So it was taken from this location. And as you pass your fingers over it, you read just one simple line. You have to find her. And it is signed with a G.
I'll hand it over to Sulong and I'll say, it seems that it actually may be the case of sleeping with the enemy, rather than being the enemy.
She was trying to figure out his form, so... Ugh.
And I'll open the box in the meantime if there's anything in it.
You open the box. And when you run your fingers over the object inside, you feel a gold ring with a beautifully set center stone. Similar to what you know most people would exchange when they propose marriage.
I'll just pick it up and hold it out to them.
You all see a beautifully cut emerald cut diamond sitting on a gold filigree band in the center of a red velvet box.
Is there an engraving on the inside?
There's no engraving.
But I think we can make assumptions.
That there's an actual Arabelle out there and she's in danger?
Or that perhaps Galwin was leaning in one direction and then had second thoughts, given the everything. Either way.
That Arabelle's acting out of manner and she's going to go murder the entire world?
I would at this point assume that she is not acting out of manner. I would assume that Galwin simply realized the enormity of the situation. But these are things that we must find as we search.
Good. Noses to the ground, everyone. Not literally, of course. Going to go search her rooms. I've been in it before. I know the layout.
Sulong heads behind the cash register and just pulls the lever.
I'm picking up a bag and I'm just walking along shelves, feeling for things, and whatever it is just goes into the bag. If there's a label with it, it goes into the bag.
All right, I will get you a list.
I'm just turning this place.
I will get you a list of the shop's current inventory after the game. Sulong, go ahead and roll me a D100. That will be the amount that you find in the till.
41.
You find 41 gold.
I'll be headed over to this living room kind of area.
Yeah. You walk into this room, and this is actually an office.
Oh.
This is where Arabelle did her record keeping. Go ahead and roll me investigation.
Excellent. I was going to be like, maybe she has some change between the cushions. Even better. Oh, I've got one neck. That's a 6.
Damn.
You don't find much of anything here, Fisscourth. It's just a bunch of records, shipment receipts. There's a big ledger of what was sold day to day. A couple of bills here and there. Nothing of interest.
Too mundane for something so evil.
Yuiza, you were heading upstairs?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me investigation on Arabelle's room.
13.
13. Okay. You find a few things. You find a small cat figurine, a red potion with gold wings on the cork. You find sitting on the nightstand, a little dusty and forgotten, a journal.
We'll take it.
Okay.
The cat figurine and the potion she'll put in her bag for later, but she'll open up the journal and read it.
All right. The author's handwriting is looping, but neat. There are small drawings in the corner of the page of flowers and butterflies. The author's entry starts out detailing their conflicting feelings of leaving their teaching post. There's much reminiscing about the development of magical artifacts, the magical artifacts department, and student accomplishments over the last 5 years. Without furthering my own knowledge, I fear I don't have much more to teach them. They've all surpassed me at this point, and I agree with the headmaster that my talents are largely being wasted at this point. Maybe one day I'll return. A few entries mention family. There's a little discussion of extended family, but regular notes referring to a sibling. A notable mage climbing the social ranks in the Panna Republic. I was so angry at her for following me to Ukraine at first. Maybe it was fated for her to do so. After all, meeting the Lord and Baroness seems to have had a positive effect. Her last letter was nothing but gushing over the Lord's heir. At least I think that's where her newfound interest in magical artifacts is coming from. It's not like her to go seeking creatures of legend like some guild adventurer, but maybe she's on to something. The entries go on to be more generic, detailing local gossip and events happening in the village of Dullhen, including the establishment of the Wands Want, the newly minted Warden's Guild Hall, still under construction but attracting new members daily. The latest arrival, Calvin, is so goofy. I think he mostly skates by on his good looks, but his deep knowledge of the arcane and enchantment magic is as thorough and well-researched as any scholar I've encountered. He keeps coming to the shop for minor potions, but I never see him do much more than help about town. I'm starting to think he's visiting for other reasons. I think my sister would enjoy his stories. As the entries continue, Galwin and the other wardens' names make more appearances, but none more than his. There's a doodle of the dagger he carries and the pattern embossed on his leather armor. The final entry details the preparation for a trip to the Panna Republic. I can't believe she's finally getting married. I assumed they would eventually. The texts and maps that she's been sending me, though, they have me a bit befuddled. I've written to several associates at the academy, but so far, even their libraries have turned up very little detail. I know we only plan to be gone for a few days, but maybe I can convince Calvin to take a longer trip. Entire structures don't just disappear overnight. Someone has to have a record of these locations or what these keys may be. Which reminds me, I need to speak to Calvin before we depart. He's been acting so funny lately. I'm sure it's nothing, but I cannot bear the thought of him being uncomfortable at the wedding. I know high society events bore him, but he could at least be a little excited. I should make a packing list too while I'm at it. Maybe I should have asked Icky to accompany me instead. They love these social things. The next page is a neat list of items the author needed to pack. The final item is this journal. It's the only item without a check mark next to it.
Have I seen Arabelle's writing before? Like when I came in and Arabelle was helping me with potions and stuff like that, did I see like maybe her notes on anything?
You did. You did see notes in her lab. She pulled out many of them for you to look at, and this handwriting does match. Roll a history check for me.
17.
You don't remember Arabelle ever writing anything in front of you the whole time you've been here. But you're sure that based on what you saw in the lab that this matches Arabelle. What are the rest of you up to?
I am feeling over what I've got, and I'm actually putting them into piles. As I'm feeling it, like feeling labels, reading over stuff, I'm putting like this pile of things that I think Sulong would want, and this pile is for Yuiza, and this pile is for Fisscourth. And obviously, like, this is not like a set in stone pile, but I'm just doing the work ahead of time. And then everything else I'm gonna be putting into a bag.
Make a investigation check for me.
That's a natural 20 for a 20.
Love that. As you are sorting all of these items, you come across a paper item that doesn't seem to quite fit with the others. And it's part of a news article, ripped out from a pamphlet or maybe a newspaper. But you are able to make it out as your fingers cross the page. This appears to be the kind that would be mass-produced for major events in larger cities. And you read, King Yalan makes a miraculous recovery as the queen remains ever vigilant by his side. It is believed they will resume their duties before long. The queen was quoted as saying, she looks forward to celebrating the anniversary of the king's coronation with the people. Further inquiry to the events planned were brushed off as the topic of conversation turned to the return of the Oracle Trologos to the summer castle, supporting the queen's recent efforts to instate a more stable relationship with the Baroness of Anstead, a powerful seer in her own right. The queen will be speaking to the Senate on the Senate chamber on behalf of Anstead's Baroness, following the recovery of her dear friend, Gillian Adela. Many have heard the harrowing tale of the bard's rise from simple romance author to the right hand of the Baroness of Anstead, following his harrowing escape from a vile and predatory cult lurking in the depths of the mountains. Brutal creatures, every one of them. Something must be done to protect the people from becoming victims like our dear Adela. I will not rest until justice is served, the Baroness was quoted as saying. It is suspected that action will be taken to protect. The page cuts off.
Am I correct that some of these names mean something to me from my past?
Roll me a history check.
We went over a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
16.
16? You're vaguely aware of the current political climate. Everyone knows King Yalan as the current reigning king, not a king that was in power while you were in the Panda Republic. But he is the most recent member of the monarchy. You don't recognize who the current Baroness is. The leaders in Anstead, they they tend to change their roles rather fluidly. You're not sure if this is someone who is currently running Anstead or if this is maybe just a extended family member, as they do have a long line there as well at this point. But it is not someone that you're sure if you know or not.
Yeah, it didn't sound like the names I remember from Anstead.
But you do recognize the name Jillian.
Mm-hmm.
This has brought up a Jillian more than once now.
That one's not going to go into a pile. That's going to go into my coat with the contract for later as I continue to sort things into my piles.
Fisscourth and Sulong, what are you up to?
Sulong's going around the rooms, collecting everybody's things.
Okay. As you're going around the rooms, make me an investigation check.
15?
15. You notice as you're going around the rooms in the common area, there's a fireplace outside all of your rooms, and you notice something light in color sticking out amongst the ashes, almost as though something that someone tried to burn in their haste and just didn't bother to see that the job was actually done.
He'll sweep at the ashes and pick that object up.
You find a scrap of parchment written in a neat, precise hand, but it appears to be gibberish. You can't make it out. It's in some sort of code. What languages do you speak?
Sulong speaks Common, Draconic, Druidic now for some reason, and Elvish.
Yep, this is not something that you can read.
He'll tuck it away to present to the party later. But yeah, he'll go over everyone's rooms again just so that he doesn't leave anything.
All right. And Fisscourth, what are you up to now?
After looking through a bunch of sale bills, which quite frankly was boring, Fisscourth walks out with a disappointed huff. Nothing in the office or living room I thought it was. There was such a nice couch in there. Do you know people have couches in their offices?
If they want to be comfortable, yes. Yes, often they do.
I think it's pronounced Shea Lounge.
Shea Lounge. I will remember this.
Like a fainting couch, right? It's open on one
Oh,
end.
like in my novels. I see. Have any of you found anything yet?
Gibberish scrap of paper.
Oh, let me see. Do I recognize what's on the paper?
What languages do you speak?
Oh boy. I speak Abyssal, Common, Deep Speech, and Infernal.
You do not recognize this language.
Oh, chicken scratches.
I'm just going to run my hand over it while everybody's doing it. The languages I speak are Abyssal, Common, Elvish, Infernal, and Undercommon.
You do not recognize it.
All right.
I found her journal, everyone.
A journal? What did it have? Evil plans? Eating babies?
Actually, it's pretty I think she was gushing about Gawain.
Wait, but she hated Gawain.
Yes, but the thing is that this journal stops right before her trip with Gawain. Remember when we met her, she was coming back from a trip with Gawain?
Right, their cart broke down.
Yes, and well, by the looks of it, it hasn't been touched since. I mean, if you look here and she'll go to the last page, this journal is the last thing on this checklist and it was never checked, and you think she'd use it, or at least when she got back, if she forgot it. Did you guys find anything else?
Some things to look over later. In the meantime, and I'll just gesture out to the piles. I've raided the place and I've sorted things based off of what I think you each would like to use. And you actually see Arat is wearing a funny looking scarf over his ash-covered clothes and whatnot that he wasn't wearing. That was not there before. There's at least one thing he picked up for himself already.
Awesome.
Can I, while he's doing that, look over Was I there when Sulong actually? I'll ask that. Was I there when Sulong showed the paper to people?
We'll say that they were probably having the tail end of that conversation as you came down the stairs, so you could have overheard it.
Can I look over the piece of paper that we found?
Sulong will snatch it out of Fisscourth's hands like how she did to him and like stick his tongue out towards her and hand it to Yuiza.
I'm gonna stick it right back.
Yuiza, as you take this piece of paper from Sulong, you clearly read it. Plain as day. This is a language that you are well practiced in, as it's thieves' cant. And you also recognize the handwriting. And it says, "Hold up your end of the deal, and I'll decipher the next text for you. Harm her, and our bargain is off." And it's signed, Lee.
My dad?
Tarzan?
Today's been a lot. You can talk about it later if you want.
It seems that your father is coming up quite a bit today.
It's fine. I'll read it later. It's not important right now. We have other things to focus on.
Sulong's just gonna put two hands on Yuiza's shoulders to focus and center her. With me. In. Out.
Do you perhaps want to take her mind off of this by exploring some more?
I can break into offices.
I can clap wrong.
Ha ha ha. She's gonna walk away.
All right.
Long just uses his upper hands to clap his lower hands.
All right. Yuiza, where are you heading off to?
This room that we haven't been shown that is
This
locked.
one back here? Okay.
That one, sure.
Roll me. Are you going to try and open the door?
I'm going to try and look at if it's locked or if it's trapped, like
me
a good little
investigation.
rogue. 19.
19. Love it. Love to see it. It's not trapped, but you do see the same runes on this lock that protect the front door as well. So it is definitely magically protected. However, when you try your key for the front door, it does not open this.
You guys remember how when we tried to break in here, like we got blasted?
Vividly.
This is what's going to happen if we try to break into this door. We'll get blasted.
Is there like a window we can go through?
I think we'll get blasted. Oh, wait, the windows are broken. She's gonna run outside and try.
Sulong, do you want to just point as I'm still sorting?
All right, let's see.
It's running outside.
All right, so the two of you are going to the back window. You can definitely do that. Fisscourth, are you staying with Arat or are you going to the window with Sulong and Yuiza?
You know, I don't fancy getting knocked on my butt again. I'm going to hang out with Arat and I'm going to fix the scarf just a little bit on him. Say, you look very charming, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are you doing well? I didn't actually get a chance to stop and ask.
Just look, I've experienced a lot of death, caused a lot of deaths. Thought I was doing things right this time around.
You
And
what?
suddenly it's all taken out of your claws. I appreciate you very much, Arat, but I feel like a pup again. I don't know what to do with myself.
I was wandering the fray with no cards, nothing in my disposal that I could actually do anything with to help. It was all tooth and claw for the bit of it. And then once the fight ended, I had to be pointed place to place. I understand what it's like to not know what to do.
You do. You truly do. In ways that no one else does. She's just gonna come up to you, just press herself against you, put her head on her shoulder with a humph. She's tired. Really tired.
Just put a hand just feeling, then just a hand right on top of her head, between the ears. Remember what I said. You did well today. You all did well today.
So did you, Arat.
The point I'm making is that you feel that you've done many wrongs in the past and you were trying to do things right. It did not get taken away from you. You're still doing the right thing.
She's just going to put a claw to his lips. Let's just not think for a bit. We both deserve to not use our brains for just a moment. At least for just a moment. Just stay with me for a little bit, Arat.
Very well.
All right. Yuiza and Sulong, you make your way around the building. And sure enough, the windows here too have been blown out by the concussive force of that blast. Are you just climbing right into the window?
Yuiza is.
Well, Sulong's just gonna grippy claw her shoulder.
Ah, what?
Hold on. Just because the window's blown out doesn't mean the magic is. I know that you're very gung-ho to get things done, but let's not have a repeat of myself and the guild hall. And with that, I'm going to go in first.
This is not on fire. I go and she's gonna jump into the window.
Just shoulder to shoulder pushing through the window.
It's just a Looney Tunes moment for these two as they fight like siblings to get to the kitchen first when mom's making their favorite meal. But yes, as you both squeeze yourselves in through the same window at the exact same time, you tumble into an alchemical laboratory. Yuiza, you actually climb right on top of a alchemical table with carved runes in it. None of them currently glowing or active. This looks like it's going to be where someone would enchant things. But you are in here, safe and sound. Magic has not gone off. What do you do?
Investigate.
Okay.
I say that out loud.
All right.
Help me investigate.
Okay. Would you both like to roll investigation, or would you like to get advantage and one person roll?
What's your investigation stat?
+3.
I will help you, Yuiza.
Okay, Yuiza, you can go ahead and roll with advantage.
15.
You find a bottle. The label on it is worn away, but it's definitely a bottle similar to the other potions in the shop, but it's full of what appears to be just normal water. You find a spell scroll, and you find 2 keys. Roll me a history check.
Please? That was almost a 19. That's a 9.
You found 2 keys. And as Sulong is helping you, I'll say Sulong finds this. Hidden amongst the stacks of papers and writings, you see a lot of notes, but behind a stack set face down on the table, you see a small wooden frame. And on the back of it, you recognize the mark of an artisan from Sara, a well-known painter by the name of Lin Wei, one of the members of the Wei family, responsible for running the local merchants guild.
Huh. He'll flip the frame up.
As you flip it up, it's a small portrait of a family. You assume that those are 2 parents, 1 grandparent, and you see 2 twin girls. One both with similar in feature, but one with a slightly more angular face and slightly darker brown hair.
Did you know Arabelle had a sister?
Yuiza just stops. Yeah, she wrote about the sister in her journal.
Does this young lady look anything like the woman who teleported away?
They are probably about 10 years old in this photo, but people don't change all that much. The hallmark features of both girls are still there. One is clearly the person you thought you were living with, and the other is the person you discovered you were living with. And that is where we are leaving it, because we are 1 minute over tonight.
You did it again!
I did.
Got such a good story now!
Oops, you did it again. You played with our
I can't care
hearts.
about my father yet.
We got lost in this game.
Ooh, baby. Thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight. My players are now going to go into an after show with me where they will probably scream at me for the first 5 minutes. And then we'll talk about the show and answer chat's questions, talk about our questions, comments, and concerns of the players and all of yours at home. If you would like to join us for that, you can go to patreon.com/thehypegoblin, where you get access to our Discord community and a seat at the table, which is where we collect all of the questions and sometimes screenshots and clips from y'all. But let's go around and say goodbye, everybody. Thank you to all our patrons and Twitch subscribers for your continued support. This show is made possible by listeners like you. Fisscourth was played by Abby. Arat was played by Zachary Vaudo. Yuiza was played by Alessa Vamp. Sue Long was played by RJ. And your GM this evening was Sara Roberts. Luck and Chaos is recorded live on Thursday nights. If you'd like to join us for a live recording, check out hypegoblin.com/events for the full live schedule. Links to cast social media, third-party supplements used in the game, affiliate links, and the show's Patreon are available in the episode description. A Twist of Fate, Luck and Chaos theme by Sneakernet is available now on Bandcamp. Don't forget to like and review this episode on your platform of choice, and we'll see you all in the next one.